just lit this town like a fire in a blaze, gotta burn it down. Can't be afraid to leave this out. We got this far, don't know how. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we gonna let it rain tonight. We gonna let it rain tonight. We gonna let it just like the sunrise. We gonna let it now. Just like a spark that's breaking out. Can't make a stop, can't turn back now. We know that there's no room for doubt. No, we can't turn back now. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we gonna let it rain tonight. We gonna let it rain tonight. We gonna let it just like the sunrise. We gonna let it now.
I'm muted. I thought I hit the button, but I didn't. Welcome in, everybody. Hello. How are you guys doing tonight? Hopefully, you guys are having a great Saturday. You know, it's going to be a good day. It's going to be a good live. If you're new to the channel, my name is Tanya or TitaniumBuilt. You can call me either or. But welcome in, and I'm going to put these papers up really quick. They go right here. There we go. They're just like hang right here. They're just kind of in my way. So if you're new to the channel, hi, hello, welcome. My name's Tanya. Like I said, if you're not new and you're coming back for another round, welcome back. And I did put some eye drops in, and I'm trying to make sure my eyes don't start crying on you guys. But welcome in, hanging in there, Captain. Someone said, "Who's Captain?" earlier in the comment section, because I never went back out of the live chat from the premiere and like deleted my comment. I didn't realize I was in the comment section. I was like, whoops. So I was like, I meant to say hi back, but you know, my day was pretty good. I went to a couple stores with Vincent, and then we came home and hung around the house. I had a horrible sandwich. It was the worst sandwich I've ever had. I'm gonna tell you that. And they're supposed to be like, they're voted number one in like the city. Nope. Nope. I'm from Philadelphia, and we're big on our bread there. And like, people know how to cook out there. They just do. Philadelphia, you cannot find anything that's bad. Sandwiches are good. Pizza's good. Everything's good. But this sandwich was it was so bad. How are Sonny and Cher? The eaglet was that fledged? What's that mean? It was almost accident. Oh, she got big hair and landed halfway on the branch. She lost her balance and couldn't recoup, so off she went. And she flew. Oh, that's so exciting, Ladybug. We're into our birds. I used to make fun of my grandparents for knowing all the birds and stuff. I don't know the birds, but I just, I name them. But two birds, Sunny and Cher. They've been mating. If you don't know, they've been mating outside of my apartment since spring. They flew away and I thought they were gone. So I left their nest up there for like a few days and I wasn't going to tear it down, I wasn't going to be mean. It was on my blinds, but I wasn't going to be mean. I have outdoor blinds. Wasn't going to be mean to those birds though. So then they came back and I was like, oh, there they are. Well, then they flew the nest for like a month and I like got rid of the nest because I was like, for sure they're gone now. I go out there one day and would you know, Cher was back. She was ready to like come in and have some more babies, I guess. Hey, Willows. Hey, Mandy. So yeah, she's up there just chilling right now. The cat scared her. I think my cat tried to jump up there somehow, but I don't know how he did it. And he's old. He's like really old. I don't know how he does it. He still does it though. Hey, baby girl, how are you? And how was your day, Ladybug? Hopefully you guys had a good day. I missed you. I was going to come on earlier, like not on the premiere, but I was so busy. Hey, Michelle, welcome in. Okay, I'll go faster. Everyone's probably like, get to it. Hey, Captain. Welcome in, everybody. I like Michelle coming in with the little kitty cat. Hey, Boone. It's good to see you. I know a lot of people are live tonight. I was like, dang. Hey, DM. Hey, Stacy. Hey, Mary. Spokane. Oh, look at that. You could help between you and baby girl. I could do the Travis Decker case, and you guys could help me with the locations. Hey, Jog. They're all of the Indian locations out there. My brain cannot compute the words. They just don't want to come out of my mouth. Do you ever get like that? I guess I do. Hey, Tony. Hey, Brian. Hey, Nicole. Good to see you guys. Hey, Jenny. Well, look at y'all coming in. I was muted. Yeah, I was. Oh, 88. It was pretty here today, too. Hey, Wolfie. Oh, you missed me. Oh, I was walking on the treadmill. So if you said hi, I was probably not even looking at the phone. Only 65. I should have looked for you, though. I should have known you was in there. Michelle, thank you. I'm actually wearing a dress tonight. Would you look at that? Can you believe that? Hey, Dawn. It's just what I had on from earlier. So, hey, Jet Set. I was like, I might as well just keep it on. And I actually got it in pink. Mia More, hello. Hey, Matcha Chi. If I like something, I'm one of those people. I'll get it in every color. Hey, Tom. How you doing? Oh, is that why she said hi, Tanya? She's probably... Oh, Wolfie. She's probably like, what? I heard her say that, but I thought she was meaning another Tanya. She meant... If you talk to her before I do, because you probably will, make sure you tell her that I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy. I heard her and I thought she was talking to someone else because I heard something else, but then I was like, oh, she must be talking about someone else. Because, I think because my name comes up like TitaniumBuilt. So I don't know why I didn't put it together. That's so funny, Wolfie. Yeah, she definitely said my name. And I was like, well, not that I think the people that go into BJ's chat goes into her chat. Not saying that at all, but I have heard of Tanya over there. So when I hear the name, I don't really, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think about it. Well, she was talking to me. Whoopsie. Hey, Micro. Alrighty, we're going to get right into it then. Like, right into it, you know how I say that. But let's see. Share. I know I canceled it. Okay. I'm like rolling 9 minutes in, but that's usually about how far I'm in before we get to it. Hey, get to the ducking point. So, Willows, y'all need to be following me on Twitter and you need to follow Willows because Willows has been giving me some information. So apparently I haven't found anything for Dylan. I've been looking for Dylan, but Bethany, she retweeted something to me and I actually follow that person on Twitter too. And I didn't even see that, but let me pull it up. It's the case information. So there is, Bethany Funke has been subpoenaed to testify in Bryan Kohberger's trial. Now, I have been trying to figure out how to find all of the documents. Like I saw that there was one, like there's one page on Twitter. So we'll go through that one page, but I don't know if there's any more to that. Like, when we were reading through the subpoenas last night, there was like 14 pages. Each subpoena was like 14 pages. And then on like the 5th page, like number 5 or number 3, it said if the person was there for the defense or for the prosecution. Well, I swear I've read so many things tonight about Dylan and Bethany, like so many articles, because I was trying to figure out where Dylan was from, and I finally figured it out. But I don't know if it's for the defense or for the prosecution. Now, I could have sworn I read somewhere, and this could have been when it was the preliminary hearing, and that was when they filed that subpoena. But it said she was for the defense. But now I can't seem to know where I found that. So if you guys have heard that, let me know. If not, we're just going to go on with it. See, that's where Bethany's from. So when I looked up and I found an article by Daily Mail, they said she was from Boise. Like she was at her parents' house in Boise, but I know she's back at a school. She's in a school somewhere, but I don't know what school. I don't think it's University of Idaho, because I read in another article that she's starting to go to another school. So we'll have to figure out like the county or something. I was like on here for like the last 3 or 4 hours. Like trying to find this. Like I was just like, my brain was like melting. I was like, where is it? Where is it? Because every state is different. Like when you go to Ohio, you go to like the clerk of courts, right? A lot of other states, it's not like that. They have like a records place, or it's just in their judicial district, like, or it's crazy. So let me pull up what I found. Because I did go and try to find it. Like, I saw it on Twitter, and then I tried to go find it on my own so I could see it, with my own eyes. And this is what I found. So just the detailed case information. This is the number for like the case description number. So if anyone wants to look it up, they can. Filing date was last month. So May the 1st. So we're a little late. But I think we're first on YouTube, because I've not heard anybody talk about this. And whenever I hit the printer friendly version, that's what we're going to go to next, because you can't click on like any of these, which stinks. Like there's nothing here like files or anything. Under the cross reference number, there's nothing under that. Event information, nothing under that. Docket information, we have some stuff under there. So we've got on 5-1, we're going to go from the bottom up. Proof of electronic service. And then on 5-1, there was a request for foreign subpoena. I'm assuming a foreign subpoena is out-of-state subpoena. I'm going to say that, but we're going to look it up. It says, a subpoena is a legal document issued by a court in one jurisdiction, like a state, that requests the production of documents, the appearance of a witness, or other actions in a different jurisdiction, another state. Okay. So now that we know that. So then they produced the subpoena, 5-1, and then proof of electronic service, 5-1. Document issued by the court was on 5-1. And then order granting, and then proof of electronic service was on 5-8. So she got that order, and it says order granting. I wish I could like see what the rest of it said. We can't see. It won't tell us. But it will tell us some more of her stuff over here. So this is, I don't know why it's on the side like this. That's how it came up. And you can't scroll over. So, and I don't know why at the bottom it says notice this is not an official court record. I mean, maybe, I don't know. Maybe it's because I haven't went yet. But it just gives the case description: State of Idaho versus Bryan Kohberger. The filing date, which was May the 1st. The case type, other civil matters. Status pending active. And then the judge was Scott Freeman. Interested party, Bethany Grace Funke. That's a pretty name. Plaintiff, State of Idaho. The attorney for her is Grosnick Esquire, Evelyn. Wait, we had an Evelyn, didn't we, last night? We didn't. It wasn't Grosnick. No, I didn't. I would have remembered that. Okay. And then the defendant, Bryan Kohberger. I'm sure that these people that are being subpoenaed to come there to testify are just like really happy, right? Probably just so excited to see him. So then this just tells the same thing that we just went over, the date filed and everything down there. So the only other thing that I've seen was this on Twitter, and see how it's like, it says page 1 down here. So I think that there's more than one page. So what I'm going to have to probably do is FOIA that and see if you can get this, then you can get the whole document, right? So I don't see why I wouldn't be able to get the whole document. I know Travis Decker's case, they said no, because when it's under our investigation, they said no nicely, but still they said no. And I was like, oh, dang it. Hey, Extreme Blonde. Hey, Squeaky. There's old Squeaky Wheel. Yeah, she was in a different state, wasn't she, at first? So is that where she went to college, was in Boise? Because it said that she was living in Boise. It said, where did it say that? Not this article, maybe this one. Right here. Okay. Remember the first article that ever came out about Dylan, like after all this? This came out January 9th, 2023. And it was this one. And they got her running. It says right here, where did I see it? Right here. Okay. So it says exclusive dailymail.com photos show 19-year-old sophomore returning to her family's home in Boise, which she's 20, after a Sunday morning coffee run. So her parents are from Boise, but I don't know if that's where she's going to school. I know that she's not going. So she's from Nevada. Bethany is. So maybe Dylan's from Utah. Bethany was originally from Nevada. Yeah. Okay. Man, they'd be moving around. Not that much, but more than I ever did. No, I don't know. Maybe not. But wait, hold on. Actually, let me get the one that we just had up because it's like more. It's bigger, so we can read it. But the case number is the same, CV 2501028. Department number D9. I wonder what that means. Order directing the attendance of Bethany Funke in an Idaho District Court. So, based on the request for an order to direct the attendance of Bethany Funke in an Idaho District Court, and the court being otherwise fully advised, it is hereby ordered that a subpoena is to be issued directing Bethany Funke to appear before the District Court of the 4th Judicial District of the State of Idaho, 200 West Front Street, Boise, Idaho, 83702, on August 11th, 2025 at 8 a.m. through the end of trial to testify at the trial scheduled in the state of Idaho versus Bryan Kohberger. Out-of-state witness fees and mileage are to be paid to the witness. It doesn't say she can break the law and get out of jail free, though, on hers. See, I want to see all that. I want to see like the rest of it. Dated this 8th day of May, 2025. So I think that's what we have. And this is the original document. That was like, I was going through this one because I was trying to see if it said it on this one. This is this is how we got the original document. This is just how it was online. It just looked crappy. But I don't see it on here. I looked through it twice. Yeah, it doesn't say it. Remember how they had like all the Like they have 1 through whatever, and it was in that section. I don't see that on here, so. It says that merely states Miss Funk may, and may, like in parentheses, be a material witness. Okay. Maybe they said she will be, and that's why she has to come now. Yeah, I don't see it. Because they wanted her to come on June 28th at 8 a.m. when it was, this is the first subpoena that they sent her. The state of Nevada, sorry, Washoe. So, I'm assuming then if she's from Nevada, then maybe Dylan was from, what did you say? Utah? Hey, Jenna. Welcome in, everybody. And hey, She Beast. Thank you for letting me know that too. Okay. So this is kind of just funny. I mean, it's just out of everything, this just kind of like made me laugh. Oh, let me go back. Let me see, where was that at? Okay. So, let me see if I can go back to it. Or do I have to look it back up? Okay, well, let me see. If we can do it by this. Yeah, we can. So I looked up Dylan, and I tried to look her up in like Ada County, Boise, Idaho, because that's where it was. And she did have an infraction on her record. And I didn't even know that they would ticket you for this, but her ticket was for tobacco or electronic cigarettes. Like, so she had one like under 18. Like, what are these cops doing out there? Do they not have anything better to do? But I mean, I don't know. Could you imagine you're just like walking around with your friends trying to be cool? The cop stops you because you got your e-cig. You're like, I wonder how old she was. I wonder if it'll tell us on here. The infraction date was 2019. Somebody do that math for me. So she was 9. Oh, she was young then. Yeah, she probably shouldn't have been doing them e-cigs that young. But I mean, what else? I mean, I don't know. I guess it's like smoking in the bathrooms at school. No one got arrested for that, or not like arrested, but nobody got their cigarettes taken from them. I wish they would have. They stunk up the whole damn bathroom. Did anybody else go to a school where the kids smoked in the bathroom? They don't do that anymore, I'm sure. In school, they probably have these cigs, but they did, and they probably smells fruity. But they smoked cigarettes, and they smelled terrible. And I was a smoker. That's the thing. But your girl could go 8 hours. She didn't need to have a cigarette that bad. I quit a long time ago. But yeah, I thought it was pretty funny. She pled guilty. It says unlawful for minor to use, possess, receive, purchase, use, or consume. So that's all I could find on her. Like, I couldn't find anything, really anything else. They do the vapes in the bathroom now, Jog? Probably smells all fruity, nice though, at least. I mean, no, don't be doing that, kids, but you know what I mean. And they would spray like generic Bath and Body Works perfume, like body spray on them, and they would douse themselves in it. So when they came into the classroom, it was like a waft of like smoke / nasty smelling stuff. And it was like, ladies, ladies, come on. Let me pin a couple of these tabs and then I'll get this podcast going for us. But that's all I could really find out about them. We are going to do a live though over like what they're up to now, like since the homicides up until, now. I can probably exit out of that. So we'll watch the podcast, and then there is a new video that came out on News Nation. I don't know if it has anything that we don't already know though in it. I got like halfway through it, but it does have Bryan in it, so he's easy on the eyes. But I am going to put this. I'm going to go ahead and put the podcast on for us. In 1982, I smoked in the bathroom at school. Deion, see, at least you admit it. I never smoked in the bathroom at school. It always smells so bad. What are you doing? You don't ever want to leave. Okay, let me start the podcast. And I'll put a picture up too, so that way you guys have something to look at while we're watching it. This is the right one. Yeah, okay. Making sure it wasn't on the wrong one like I did earlier. When I went to record, I was on the wrong one. I was like, no, I had to re-record it. Oh, you want to stay? Okay. She wants to stay. So I wanted to tell you about this episode anyway. So basically, the Hamster Wheel of Justice is the episode. It was released on June 26th, 2024. It focuses on the case of Bryan Kohberger, the PhD student that is charged with killing 4 University of Idaho students, and while they pretty much slept back in 2022. I think we all know the story, but the case. But the episode breaks down the implications of the death penalty in the Idaho versus Bryan Kohberger and discusses Bryan's alibi with expert commentary. It's part of a series exploring the case's pretrial hearings, the investigation, and whether Kohberger, a criminology student, is going to be wrongfully convicted or wrongfully accused. Or wrongfully convicted if he was convicted, or if he's a calculated killer. Now, I don't know. I think personally, it's the latter. I think that they've got a lot of evidence, in my opinion. And we went over it, on the channel before. Like, if you go back just like a couple lives ago, I think we went through all of it. Like, there's a lot that they have. I think that, I think that they're going to come out with a lot more as well. And we might not know. I think we would have known more maybe if the Dateline episode didn't drop. But I think now that dropped, we probably won't know a whole lot more until trial, unless they drop the gag order. But I don't really see them doing that now. I mean, we're already this close to trial. What if they drop the gag order and all hell broke loose? Like, I think they probably won't drop that. But I will go ahead and play this. If you guys don't mind, take a second, hit the like button. If you appreciate the content, subscribe to the channel. Yeah. And I'll put some pictures up while we're watching this. There's 2.
Bryan Kohberger out stargazing and driving the night 4 University of Idaho students were murdered. That's part of the alibi he's offering to the court.
Sometimes, and this won't shock anybody who's done defense work, clients will lie to their attorneys.
This is The Idaho Massacre, a production of KT Studios and iHeartRadio. Season 2, Episode 4, A Hamster Wheel of Justice. I'm Courtney Armstrong, a producer at KT Studios with Stephanie Leidecker and Gabe Castillo. On December 30th, 2022, 6 weeks after the murders of Ethan Chapin, Xana Kernodle, Madison Mogan, and Kaylee Gonzalez, 28-year-old criminology PhD student Bryan Kohberger was arrested at his family home in Pennsylvania's Pocono Mountains. Here's Monroe County Assistant District Attorney Michael Mancuso.
Mr. Kohberger was found awake in the kitchen area, dressed in shorts and a shirt and wearing latex medical type gloves, and apparently was taking his personal trash and putting it into separate Ziploc baggies.
Here's Stephanie.
Just picturing the accused Bryan Kohberger wearing shorts and a t-shirt and surgical latex gloves is such a chilling detail. So let's just play this out for a second. If in fact Bryan Kohberger did this, that would actually mean that he murdered 4 people. Then he went back to class in the days thereafter. Then his dad picks him up at his apartment in Washington. And as we know, the 2 of them infamously drove in Bryan's white Elantra across country to go home for Thanksgiving break. You'll also remember that the police pulled Bryan and his dad over twice, allegedly to see if he had any scratch marks on his hand. And body cam footage shows that he did. Now he's home. He's at his parents' house for Thanksgiving break. And he realizes his car is a crime scene. So now he's wearing these latex gloves and cleaning it out, making sure that things are put in their proper Ziploc bags. CNN reported that he cleaned his car inside and out, not missing an inch. That's a pretty big deal. Does that mean he's just trying to make sure there isn't any evidence left behind? Or as the defense would probably say, maybe he's just a meticulous guy that doesn't like germs and just likes to forever be wearing a latex glove.
On January 4th, 2023, the accused was extradited back to Idaho, where he appeared in court to waive his right to a speedy trial. 7 long months after that, on August 23rd, Judge John Judge, who continues to preside over the case, pushed back the initial start date, which was set for October 2nd, 2023. As of this recording, a new trial start date has still not been set. Recently, victim Kaylee Gonzalez's family released a statement saying, "This case is turning into a hamster wheel of motions, hearings, and delayed decisions. Can we all just agree that this case needs to move forward and the judge needs to start setting hard deadlines in this case?"
Kaylee's mom says she feels like they've been in limbo now for more than a year, and while she's hopeful, mostly what they want is a trial date to be set.
To get a better understanding of these pretrial proceedings, I spoke with Kirk Nurmi, legal analyst and former defense attorney to Jodi Arias. Arias was in a widely publicized death penalty case in 2013 for murdering her ex-boyfriend Travis Alexander in Arizona.
Yeah,
In the state of Idaho, 3 people
just hit 17 years. Sorry, my voice is cracking. 17 years on that case. Isn't that amazing? That's crazy. 17 years already.
have been executed since the mid-1970s. For context, during that time, nearly 1,600 felons have been put to death in the United States. I asked Kirk about a hearing in this case that took place on January 26, 2024. At that hearing, Kohberger's defense attorney Ann Taylor tried for the second time to get all charges dismissed. I asked Kirk if it was rare for attorneys to take a second bite at the apple.
No, we have to understand in the death penalty context, if a defendant is sentenced to death, what the attorneys did or did not do will be examined for years down the road. I mean, if somebody is sentenced to death, usually it takes about 15 years for that execution to actually take place. And during those 15 years, the federal courts will take a look at it, and it will go all the way up to the U.S. Supreme Court. One of the reasons, about 50% of the death penalty verdicts get overturned. And one of the reasons for that is the counsel's failure to pursue certain avenues of defense. So it is reasonable and expected and really minimum practice for the defense attorneys in a death penalty case to pursue every avenue possible, even multiple times if there is reason to do that.
The victim's family want the trial to be expedited. It sounds like the judge as well wanted to expedite the case, but defense obviously has been pushing hard to delay. Can you speak to that?
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to some extent about having things done right. I mean, the prosecution knows, and with all due respect to the family, I understand why they want justice to be swift. But the prosecution understands that if they are investing all these resources, I mean, it always costs the state pursuing the death penalty, both for the prosecution team and for the defense team. It costs a lot of money. It costs a lot of court resources, etc. They want to make sure they do it once. If it is expedited in any way, and in that review process years down the road, the court says, no, wait a minute, this trial happened too fast because you did not give the defense proper notice on this particular issue or proper time to investigate the mitigating circumstances surrounding Mr. Kohberger's life, then it could be redone again. And so hasty justice doesn't necessarily mean justice. It has to be justice done thoroughly and 100% correctly, or again, there's a 50% chance that a sentencing verdict would be overturned.
Wow, that's a crazy high statistic. Is the pressure so much higher because of that extrajudicial oversight?
Sure. I mean, there's an expression amongst defense attorneys that death is different. And that is exactly the case. It is a meticulous, high stress situation where every avenue must be pursued because of that scrutiny that it's going to face years down the road. No defense attorney wants to be considered ineffective. Nobody involved wants to have to try the case again. That 50% rate I talk about is always related to the sentencing. It doesn't have anything to do with guilt or innocence, but it has to do with that death sentence. And that means that the judge, the prosecution, and the defense attorney all have to do their job almost perfectly, if you will, because the penalty is one from which no redress can be made once it's imposed.
Here's something I don't know about, and I don't know how much listeners do at all. What do people need to know about closed door hearings for a grand jury, and what is a grand jury?
Sure. Well, a grand jury, you think about it just like any other form of jury duty, might be the way that people can relate to it most. But when you're in a grand jury, it's secretive. It's just the prosecution presenting evidence. And the question is there probable cause to charge a defendant with a certain crime? The defense is not there. They do not provide evidence. It's not a trial. But ultimately, it's that secret proceeding to decide whether or not a charge is made. So the difference really is the secrecy of it and the charging decision. It's a lower standard versus, guilty or not guilty, what a normal jury does in a public setting.
And are these just regular, like I was on jury duty yesterday, as a matter of fact. Is this just the normal population?
Yes.
I don't know why it seems very mysterious to me.
Well, I think it sounds mysterious because it somewhat is. I mean, it happens behind closed doors. Nobody knows, about the proceeding. The future defendant doesn't know that this is going on. The testimony doesn't take place in open court. There's no cross-examination. All that is really seen, at least in my experience in Arizona, when it's done, is the transcript of the proceedings. That's it.
Is the transcript, does that go on the official record? And is that something that can be looked at by the defense or anyone else at a later time?
Yeah, certainly. And we see this in a lot of death penalty cases, but also other cases where they might challenge the sufficiency of the indictment. And those challenges are all based on the grand jury. If the prosecution failed to present exculpatory evidence that they knew they had, et cetera. If a witness lied during the grand jury in order to precipitate an indictment being filed, those sort of things can be something that they looked at because you're not subject to cross-examination. So if a police officer goes in there and says something that is not true or is later contradicted, they contradict themselves on the stand, that testimony can be used to attack their credibility and or attack the credibility of the indictment.
One more follow-up. With that, let's say that scenario just happened, a police officer or any witness is then, their testimony is found to be contradictory. Could that mean midstream that the charges are then changed, that those are then dropped, or is that not the case?
No, that's unlikely because that is a challenge that would maybe take place at the grand jury, challenging the grand jury transcript. So let's say Officer X goes in and testifies to something and his police report is completely different. You could maybe challenge the grand jury proceedings on that basis. If it gets to the trial portion of the proceedings, you could go back and impeach his credibility with that prior testimony. Like in Arizona, there's limits, and I forget the exact amount of days, but you have to challenge the grand jury finding within a certain amount of days. That precedes trial. So once that window is closed and or things are ruled upon, that becomes an issue for the appellate record, not trial per se, other than to impeach the witness with their prior testimony.
So the second hearing I wanted to talk about, this happened February 28th of this year, and this hearing was open to the public. So in this instance, a lot was made on the fact that the defendant, Bryan Kohberger, was wearing a suit. Can you give your thoughts on that, the judge's decision, the family's reaction?
Sure. And I understand seeing some of the family's comments, how they don't appreciate seeing that, what have you. But we have to remember, going back to what I said earlier about the propriety that everything is done right in a death penalty case. A defendant is presumed innocent. And we tend to forget that, I think, in the court of public opinion. And if they are seen, especially when we talk about a high profile case like this, if they are seen in jail garb or shackled with a stun belt and chains and what have you, then people begin to form an impression not only of his guilt, his violent nature. They begin forming those impressions off those visuals. So you want to prevent that at every stage of the proceeding before guilt has been established, if you will. So that is very important. Again, if you have an appellate attorney looks down years down the road and says, well, look, this guy was put in shackles and paraded in front of the entire jury panel of Latah County, and therefore his trial wasn't fair, that could be a viable argument that could have a death sentence reversed.
So really, it sounds
Okay, my comments are not getting pushed through because it hates me, but that knife would have left no survivors. They would have been unconscious within seconds and then dead within minutes. I was reading up on it. Most of the wounds, anyway, for most of the people. I can't say who had which wound, but from what we know, that's what I've read.
sounds like for the greater good of the
I'm telling you, if the cops get a hold of my Google account, they're going to be like, what are you doing?
sanctity of not having the case overturned almost.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's one less issue of pursuit, if you will, on the appellate level at the federal level.
With your courtroom experience, I don't know if you've had the experience of where a defendant is both dressed in civilian clothes and dressed in shackles, and is there a different feel sort of in the room or from the jury?
Well, the jury is only going to see a defendant in street clothes, quote unquote. If they are a danger, every effort is made to mask any restraints that they have on them. They're not going to be sitting there with handcuffs on unless there's some particular reason for it. The jury would probably be instructed not to make any inferences from that. So anytime somebody's in front of a jury, they are going to be in quote unquote street clothes, and any restraints will be masked.
That's a really interesting point, because I must have conflated seeing pretrial hearings, because I'm like, oh, well, I can picture plenty of defendants in clothes, but not in front of the jury.
That's true. So if there is a pretrial hearing where it's only the judge, if you will, and not televised, then the judge has knowledge, obviously, of the defendant's custodial status, because in many cases they've set that status. They don't need to be protected from it if it doesn't interfere with the Sixth Amendment right of the defendant, because ultimately in a courtroom, it is the jury that makes the decision. They are the final arbiter of guilt or innocence.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Perfect sense. Thank you.
Let's stop here for a break. We'll be back in a moment. There have been well more than a dozen pretrial hearings in this case, but the most significant revelation is the alibi of the accused.
And here, their alibi defense apparently is that he likes to drive around and see the moon and the stars.
The new alibi? I have like a little theory about that.
Do I buy it? No.
The prosecution is currently taking great issue with what they claim is the defense's lack of progress in furthering the details of the defendant's alibi.
Well, they furthered it. They said he likes to drive around. And then they came out and they said, well, he likes to look at the stars and the moon. They furthered it. That's a whole new story, you know?
In an April 24th, 2024 filing from prosecutor Bill Thompson, he writes, "It has now been approximately 11 months since the state filed its request for discovery disclosure alibi demand on May 23rd, 2023, and almost a year and a half since the homicides occurred. The defendant has been given more time than he is legally entitled in order to provide his alibi. The state is substantially prejudiced and compromised in its ability to investigate and respond to new or additional alibi-related disclosures."
Bryan Kohberger out stargazing and driving the night 4 University of Idaho students were murdered. That's part of the alibi he's offering to the court.
That's crime reporter Anjanette Levy, who's been following this case from the beginning. She continues describing the alibi details on a recent episode of Law and Crime Network's Crime Fix with Anjanette Levy.
So he says he certainly wasn't at that house. Instead, his lawyer's right. Mr. Kohberger was out driving in the early morning hours of November 13th, 2022, as he often did, to hike and run and or see the moon and stars. He drove throughout the area south of Pullman, Washington, west of Moscow, Idaho, including Hawaii Park. In Idaho, if a defendant is going to claim they have an alibi, They have to tell the prosecutor about a specific place or places where they were when a crime took place, and they have to identify a witness or witnesses who can vouch for them.
In the state's motion filed after the alibi was revealed, prosecutor Bill Thompson writes, "The state respectfully submits that the defendant's supplemental alibi response continues to lack the specificity required by Idaho Code 19-519, which provides that the defense shall state the specific place or places at which the defendant claims to have been at the time of the alleged offense, and the names and addresses of the witnesses upon whom he intends to rely to establish such alibi." In an effort to better understand the legalities of these motions, I continued my conversation with Kirk Nurmi. I asked him to explain why the prosecution had such a strongly worded filing after the alibi was revealed.
It's interesting because Idaho must be a little different. An alibi, in my experience in Arizona, is nothing that has to be supported or enunciated. I mean, you might call witnesses to support it, but you wouldn't have to enunciate it, if you will.
I'd love clarification of the fact that, in this case, the prosecution said the lack of a finalized version of Kohberger's alibi was concerning and argued that a deadline was necessary to ensure the alibi was not affected by evidence unveiled during discovery. I guess first, what is discovery? Because my understanding was that was the finding out of information.
Yeah, I mean, there is a bit of mystery surrounding that because we don't have all the information. My understanding is that what the Kohberger team is saying with this stargazing alibi, if you will, is that they will be able to support this alibi not by persons or video evidence, but strictly by cell phone evidence that contradicts the cell phone evidence brought in by the state. And they are also making the assertion, as I understand it, that the state has not fully disclosed all the cell phone evidence that would be supportive of the alibi. Thus, they are simply putting out there that he was stargazing, and their cell phone expert will support that.
I have to ask, what's your knee-jerk reaction to the alibi, if you want to share?
Do I buy it? No. But if that's what you're asking, do I buy it? No. But it remains to be seen what the cell phone evidence is going to demonstrate. A lot of people tend to think that a defense attorney or a group of defense attorneys sit down and concoct a defense, or that they sit down with their client and they make up a defense. But sometimes, and this won't shock anybody who's done defense work, clients will lie to their attorneys, right? And a lot of times, sometimes, you can lie in a way that there's no affirmative proof to the contrary. So he says, I'm out stargazing. He very well could have been stargazing before or after he committed this crime. There's no proof to the contrary. So my guess is Mr. Kohberger believes he's very smart and says, hey, this is my alibi. You can't disprove it.
Stephanie joins the conversation.
That does sound like it's right out of a movie. Is that what actually happens? Somebody seems so tricky that they're going to create this entire fabric of a story to their defense attorney. As a defense attorney, are you able to call BS, or do you have to play along?
Well, as a defense attorney, unless you can disprove it, you have to allow the client to tell their story. You are not judge and jury. You are there to help them tell their story, whether you believe it or not. So if a client...
Oh, man, I couldn't do that. If someone was bullshitting me, I'd say you're bullshitting me, man.
It comes up, and we continue with the alibi example. How can you disprove that? Is there some way to disprove that?
No, if there's not.
That's the point. Unless the attorney can prove the alibi to be false. Let's say he says, I was with my mother, or I was buying gas, and there's no evidence to support the alibi. Then he or she can confront their client with this evidence. There's no gotcha moment, right? There's no one more thing. Let me ask you this, because you can't disprove it. And that's why a lot of criminal defendants think, hey, this is a great story because it cannot be disproven. They've got time to sit in jail and vet their lie, if you will. And this cannot be disproven. Might not be able to be proven, but it certainly can't be disproven.
Is it as simple as somebody checking the weather to say that that particular night there were no stars to be seen in the sky?
No, not at all.
There
I mean,
was
you could still stargaze.
there was not a star in sight. If he don't have a stargazing app on his cell phone, I'm asking questions. Who are you going to watch this night sky with anyway? By yourself? Now tell me, anybody in the chat, you ever went on a night drive by yourself for that long, for 6-7 hours? Don't stop at a gas station. You ain't got to pee. You ain't got to do nothing. Yeah. Okay. He's a guy. So maybe start, side of the road, whatever. But you didn't stop to get like a drink, a road soda, a snack. You're not a very good, I'm a passenger princess. I make sure I got my snacks and everything ready.
You could still gaze at the clouds. You could do anything, right? I mean, you could say it's less probable, but you can't definitively prove it to be a lie, can you?
As a defense attorney, you hear this story, you're not buying it. Are you able to excuse yourself as the defense attorney?
No. Just because you don't believe a story doesn't mean that you are not the right attorney for the client. I mean, clients all the time, in my experience, say, I want an attorney that believes in me. I want an attorney that believes in me. And the response is, fine. If you want one stupid enough, go find one. But I'm not going to buy this story, and I don't think a jury will. But if that doesn't knock the client off the story, then the client, can get up on the stand and tell that story. Bryan Kohberger can get up on the stand and tell the story that he was stargazing that night. That does not violate the ethics of the attorney. And as a matter of fact, it is their ethical obligation, particularly in a death penalty case. An attorney can't say, well, you know what, I had this defense or I had this bit of mitigation, but I didn't believe it, so I didn't present it to the jury. Because it's not what the attorney believes, it's what the jury believes.
After this conversation, we checked the weather and saw that when Kohberger is alleged to be stargazing, it was overcast with intermittent ice fog. Having spoken with defense attorney Kirk Nurmi, Stephanie and I wanted to balance the equation. Here's attorney and former prosecutor Stephen Greenberg's take on the suspect's alibi and how he thinks it may play in court.
It underscores the lack of sophistication of the defense team. It really does. I mean, are you going to open to a jury and say to the jury that we have a moon and the stars defense? That's our alibi? Come on. They're going to look at you and say, my goodness, where did you come from?
Is there anything to the fact that you kind of can't poke holes in it versus saying, I went to the gas station at 12:33 a.m. So is that perhaps the rationale, that there's nothing specific about it, that it is so vague?
I think it's like throwing a whole bunch of stuff against the wall, hope something sticks or something will come out later on. Which is what the prosecution is trying to avoid. That will bolster it. They just want to have it out there. They're obligated to disclose their alibi.
Stephanie speaks with Inside Edition reporter Chris Spargo, who followed the case from the beginning, to get his thoughts on the alibi revelation.
Right now, when people ask about his guilt or innocence, based on what we know concretely, I mean, it's hard to really say one way or the other. I mean, we don't really know much about the prosecution's case, but we know the defense's entire alibi. So that, at this point, when you think about it, the defense has a much better case just because we know so little. We know the probable cause affidavit that says he was in the cell phone area. They don't have him at the house in that affidavit. We don't know. There could be fingerprints in the house we don't know about. There could be a million things we don't know about. What we know for a fact, they know we have his car leaving Washington State University. We know we have his car arriving back at Washington State University. We know we have a few sightings of it along the way, heading towards Moscow, leaving, and we have some photos of the car. No, we have photos of the car. We don't have photos of Bryan Kohberger. None of those things say that they have photos of Bryan, but they can prove that Bryan is there. They can say they have a car that looks like Bryan's driving. It's certainly reasonable doubt-wise. It's not awful. They don't have his car parked there for what we know. They don't have him getting out of the car. They don't have him inside the house, of the information we have so far. So based on that alone, it's hard to convict someone with that alibi at this stage, given what we know, because we don't really have any other evidence that definitively places him there.
And by the way, most of this information is really circumstantial. Is it very likely that all these small things all happen to lead to the same guy? Who the hell knows? That's just the reality of it. We don't know. And the sum of small things, I'm not convinced should equal death, in my humble opinion. And of course, we're still at the phase of gathering information.
The burdens right now are lying with the prosecution. The defense, like I said, the defense alibi is not much in the way of it's not like he was with a friend, he was driving alone. If you had to pick an alibi and you couldn't think of one, that would, I was alone doing something. But with this case and what we know, it's, again, reasonable doubt. So could you say, knowing what we know, could you 100% say that he's guilty and deserves to die? I would not want to put someone to death based on that knowledge alone. There's something there that's going to be mind-boggling when it's presented.
I reached out to data analyst Body.
I think we're going to be rocked whenever we hit trial. I think they're going to come out swinging. I love opening statements so much. Like, if I could have a seat in there for one day and one day only, it wouldn't even be the end of trial. It wouldn't even be verdict. It would literally be opening statements. Because I could tell you for sure, like, if I feel what I feel after opening statements, I'll know how I feel about Bryan Kohberger 100%. You know what I mean? Like, they normally tell you a lot in the opening statements. They better tell us a lot, but they should. They usually do.
Move-In, host of another KT Studios podcast, True Crimes. Her incredible sleuthing skills came to be known in the public with Netflix documentary Don't F with Cats. After dissecting the alibi motion, Body had her own particular thoughts to share.
I think what's interesting maybe to talk about is the alibi, the new alibi, because I have like a little theory about that.
Body reads through the amended alibi.
Bryan Kohberger's amended alibi says that he was busy with classes at work and at Washington State University, and he was running and hiking, and those activities decreased but did not stop. Instead, his nighttime drives increased. And it says this is supported by data from Mr. Kohberger's phone, showing him in the countryside late at night or early in the morning on several occasions. The phone data includes numerous photographs taken on several different late evenings and early mornings, including in November, depicting the night sky. And then it goes on to say, Mr. Kohberger was out driving in the early morning hours of November 13th, as he often did, to hike and or run, see the moon and stars. He drove throughout the area of south of Pullman, Washington, west of Moscow, Idaho, including Wawawi Park. So it's basically saying he always goes driving late at night. And there's evidence of pictures taken on his phone, including pictures that were taken in November. Now, it doesn't say that he has pictures from that night or that morning. It just says including in November. So we need to make that clear right now, because a lot of people are running with, well, he has pictures from his phone that night.
Oh, I never heard that.
No, he doesn't. So that's number one, because that's a big thing online right now. People are like, well, it's done. He's got a picture.
Oh, not
it's got
over here.
metadata. No. I very much doubt that. And number two, the PCA says Bryan Kohberger either turned off his phone, turned it onto airplane mode, or was out of service, and then picked back up after the murders. Here's what I kind of think, and something I kind of want to talk to you about. In the alibi, it states that there's going to be this Cy Ray, who's the CSLI expert, the cell phone tower, cell phone, and other radio frequency expert, to corroborate that Bryan Kohberger's phone was south of Pullman and west of Moscow. Well, look at a map of Idaho or in Washington. Where is Wawabi Park? It's south of Pullman and west of Moscow. Okay. So here's what I kind of think. And it's a bad service area, by the way. It's important to note that it's a bad service area.
Let's stop here for another break. We'll be back in a moment.
But you know what they do at that Wawawi Park every night? There's a big old gate that closes. It's not one of those little, oh, that's my dog sneezing. It's not one of those little, like, rinky-dink little chain fences that goes from one end of a pole to another end of a pole. It's like the metal gates. You're not getting back there, Kohbergs.
Body goes on to say this herself, but it's important to note that the following is her own opinion based on extrapolations made from reviewing legal documents.
I think what happened is it possible that Bryan Kohberger actually did go to Wawabi Park, just outside the gate or along that area, and left his phone like in a bush or something, drove to Moscow, because it took him like an hour, did his murders, and then drove back to Wawabi Park and got the phone, because it puts his phone at a location where he's been previously many times, but it's got terrible service. So it gives him credibility to this alibi. And if that's true, Is that an area that police now and whatnot need to be looking at for a K-bar, Dickie coveralls? Do you know what I mean? Like evidence of a dumping of some kind. Like,
That's a really, really interesting thought.
if what I said about, leaving the phone at Waweeby Park is true, then that shows intention. I mean, obviously there was intention, clearly. But what I mean is like premeditation in ways that I hadn't really considered all that much. It just shows a lot more purpose because it's very shady. But again, it's just a theory.
More on that next time. For more information on the case and relevant photos, follow us on Instagram.
I don't think they found the bear mace in the car. They just mentioned that it was on the Amazon account. Like the Amazon account that he was using. He bought bear mace, he bought a tire kit, and he also bought, if your car breaks down, like a little kit for that as well. And I'm trying to figure out where this picture is so I can take it off the screen. There we go. I can put me back up here. Okay. But yeah, I don't think that they found it in his car. No, they didn't. They didn't find it in his car. I'm gonna tell you that. No, yeah, I'm 100% on that. I'm 1,000% on that because it would have been in the search warrants, and I know everything on those search warrants. Yeah, no bear mace. It wasn't in the car, but they did say it was on his Amazon account because I actually did a video when we actually first heard that, when we first heard it, and I did a short video. It's on my shorts, and it says, and I put on TikTok. And I said, is this something that Bryan Kohberger could have bought to try to take down Ethan? Because I was trying to think of the ways, I didn't know how, he could have gotten Ethan down. But it would make sense if Ethan was asleep when he went into the room. You know what I mean? But before I really was down with Ethan sleeping, I was like, maybe the bear mace. The bear mace. But I keep wanting to say beer. But bear mace, yeah. But then someone on TikTok got mad at me. They're like, you don't even know how bear mace works. I was like, I don't. That's why I'm asking y'all. It's a question. I'm not saying it for sure. Do you want to go out? You want to go out there? Okay. I'll let you out there. Hold on one second. Let me let her out really quick. Hold on. Need it. Okay. Sure. What podcast do you work for? I do me some TikToks every now and again. I actually did a TikTok today. Also bored in the car. It's had me sitting out there forever. Okay. I was going to show you guys this video. I don't know if it'll be anything new, so don't come after me if it's not. But it was on News Nation, and I was listening to half of it. So I got to listen to half of it, but maybe there's more. But it says, Bryan Kohberger trial, is the knife sheath a smoking gun? And I didn't really know what she meant by that. So you know how they be making stuff up. I don't know, but let's see what they have to say. If you guys haven't hit the like yet, if you guys don't mind, hit the like button. I try not to bother you guys too much throughout it with that, but girls got to do what a girl's got to do. Oh, here we go. I thought I had it up. Okay, here we go. Now I can hear them back at the door. They're silly.
For worse,
Let me put this. Okay, it's turned up all the way. I think it's kind of low, but we'll be able to hear it.
Shows have forever changed the way juries approach their jobs. I'm not talking about true crime shows like this one. I'm talking about those dramas. What we used to call police procedurals, Law and Order, and all that, Forensic Files, and CSIS, I think they call it. I don't watch them, funny enough. I like the true stuff. But they all toss around lingo and they show off the latest great tech. They generally solve cases in an hour or less, right down to the micromolecular level. They do this for crime, what doctors do for illness, but with one big difference. Patients do not decide whether a tumor is benign or not, or whether the rash is contagious. Jurors, on the other hand, they do. They've got the power. They are plucked from the public with no legal education. They very much decide whether someone's guilty and sometimes whether someone will be executed for it. And when it comes to evidence and proof and reasonable doubt, 21st century jurors have come to expect some pretty big things, high expectations. They hate loose ends and unconnected dots and statistical probabilities. And to those modern day arbiters of guilt or innocence, I say this hour is for you. Tonight, we are all about that one show-stopping piece of evidence that catches the defendant dead to rights. It's best known as the smoking gun. Could be a gun, but more often it's a photo or some video, text messages or emails, cell phone data, or Google searches or DNA. The Bryan Kohberger trial coming up fast in Idaho has all of these things, minus an actual gun. But its smoking gun may very well be the DNA. The state says Kohberger's DNA is on the snap of the knife sheath, which was found next to Maddie Mogen's body. The defense has tried every which way to undermine the process that led to that conclusion, and failing that, to keep the findings as far away from the courtroom as possible. But for now, at least it is the heart of the prosecution's case. And for obvious reasons, right? You know who knows this better than anyone else I know? My News Nation colleague, Brian Enton. Brian, I know that literally up until this moment, you have been going through these court docs, and I think you're still going through them. So there may be more shoes to drop, but let's start with what we know. And let's just start with that K-bar knife, because, I felt like the biggest moment in this case was that they found the knife sheath. And then the second biggest moment was that they figured out DNA on the snap, that little spot here on the knife sheath, the thing that snaps it shut. That's where that little tiny speck of DNA was, and that it matched Bryan Kohberger. But now we have him in court documents from Amazon buying a K-bar knife, a sheath, and a sharpener.
Yeah, more than 100 pages of court documents came out just within the last couple of hours, and this was buried in the documents. And you mentioned it. I mean, this is a massive deal. This is a huge, huge piece of evidence, something very, very helpful to the prosecution. They are saying that between March 20th and March 30th of 2022, so that would be about 8 months before the murders happened, that Bryan Kohberger, through his Amazon account, bought the K-bar knife, bought the sheath, and also bought a sharpener.
So it was only a couple months before he moved out there. I mean, obviously, I don't know. I mean, obviously he wanted to do something. Like, I don't think that he knew who Maddie Mogen was when he lived in Pennsylvania, when he was out there buying the knife and the sheath, right? I mean, maybe he saw her social media back. I mean, maybe. But that, I mean, either he already had this planned out in his little head, or he bought the knife because he likes knives. Could be.
So what I thought was also interesting, and I may be, superimposing my thoughts over their documents here, but it felt to me that the prosecution was making its case by saying we did not cherry pick. We didn't cherry pick anything. What we did was we found a purchase of what was a murder weapon, similar to a murder weapon and a sheath. And also, we looked at other activity, and never did he seem to be a hunter. Never did he seem to be a fisherman buying this stuff all
That's
the
true.
time. It seemed to be just this one time that he bought this kind of weapon.
Yeah, they looked at all of the activity, all of the Amazon activity for several different time periods leading up to the murders. And what's interesting is the way we found this out is there's these filings going back and forth between the defense and the prosecution, because the defense is trying to get a lot of this Amazon information and Amazon activity thrown out. Obviously, I mean, now we know why. It's damning to Bryan Kohberger. So they've been saying, hey, the state is cherry picking, some of this stuff shouldn't be included. And in those filings back and forth, that's where this massive tidbit was, right, buried in the documents, that Bryan Kohberger had bought the knife sheath on Amazon.
Sure will be interested to find out what his answers are to where is that knife that you proudly bought. It wasn't in any of, well, we don't know, but I didn't see it on a manifest of any of the search warrants at his apartment or in Pennsylvania. I didn't see a K-bar knife, a knife sharpener, or a knife sheath in anything that they were able to seize from all the places that they searched of his. So it would be interesting if this had nothing to do with anything, then where's your precious K-bar knife that you spent all that money on, on Amazon back in March? And he, better have a pretty good answer for that. Let me jump to that selfie. It just sent chills down my spine to see him showered up and giving the thumbs up and being super proud, looking freshly washed right in front of the shower. And this was exactly at, was it 10:39, that photograph that was taken?
10:31 a.m.
10:31.
November 13th. So the day of the murders. The murders happened sometime around 4 a.m. This is 10:31 a.m. I was looking at it really closely. It looks like maybe he's in the bathroom, like in front of a shower, if you look closely.
That's where he's at.
Man was just sort of buried in these new court documents.
Oh,
really seen.
You know what? That white thing right there, I'm not saying it is, but it might not be a shower curtain. It might be the wall. Remember the bathrooms, how they're set up? So when you walk into the bathroom, there's like a little nook. There's like a little nook right there, and that's where the toilet's in. And then there's a wall. And then on the other side of that wall is your shower. And then your his and her sinks are on the other side. If you get the 2-bedroom, which he had, you get the his or her sinks. Do you remember that? I know a lot of you guys are new. Some of you guys aren't new, but but we did go through that. So that could be the wall. But it does look like it's bigger in the middle though. Like, do you know what I mean? Like it would be like a shower curtain.
Photos of them like this before, but they recovered this photo from his phone. And the reason that the prosecution is so interested in this photo is because of roommate Dylan's account that he had, that whoever came into their home had bushy eyebrows. That was one of the main things that she said. So this is apparently the photo closest to that time period of when the murders happened. And the prosecution wants to use this photo at trial to show the jury so they can look at this picture for themselves and decide whether or not, he's got bushy eyebrows.
In November of 2022, when Kaylee Gonzalez, Maddie Mogen, Xana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin were murdered, Bryan Kohberger lived just across the border in Washington state, about 20 minutes away. His home state, where he returned after the killings and where he was arrested a few weeks later, is Pennsylvania. Both his student apartment and family home were searched. And of course, among the potential evidence that police took away from that family home were criminology books.
He is kind of smirking a little weird there. You know what I mean? Like, maybe it's because he's not showing his teeth. I don't know. What are you thinking, Kohberger? Are you listening to criminal?
Evidence that police,
or are you listening to your own music? Maybe he's listening to his own rap song. I mean, he could be.
Police took away from that family home were criminology books, an ID card inside a glove box that was inside a glove that was inside a box, a silver flashlight, multiple items of black clothing.
Who doesn't have multiple
sneakers,
black
and
clothing
the rubber
items
gloves
though?
that Kohberger was wearing while sorting his family's garbage in the middle of the night, I may add. In Washington, when police raided his student apartment, investigators seized, among other things, stained bedding, strands of what appeared to be hair, and a single glove. And none of that screams smoking gun. But smoking guns aren't always obvious, at least not to the non-experts. Fortunately, Brian Enton ran all of this past two of the smartest experts I know. Robin Dreek is a retired FBI special agent and the former head of the Counterintelligence Behavioral Analysis Program. Cherkasky is a criminal defense attorney and former federal prosecutor. And here's what they had to say.
I was busy when they called, Just kidding.
Robin, I want to start with you. You heard me list out all of those items, everything we know, and it's come in bits and pieces, so it's interesting to lay it all out like that. Obviously, a lot we still don't know, but based on that, what do you make of Kohberger's criminal profile at this point?
He always strikes me from the very first time he was arrested that here's an individual that has studied this from books, and he has taken all his knowledge from research and no practical experience. And so it looks like he put together this project of his, and he gave himself an assignment for murder. And so that's what all this evidence looks like, is that he accumulated all these things, and the things he executed in the murder, like they can't find the murder weapon or the clothes he was actually wearing, he disposed of those because that's what the book said to do. Everything else that he accumulated, he held on to, maybe to be disposed of later or to be used in the future. But it strikes me as someone really conducting an experiment of an assignment he gave himself.
Yeah, interesting. And he had that survey at one point, which was like an experiment in its own way. Robin, what do you make of, and I'm sort of fascinated by this, the book that they took and some significance to page 118? What do you think that could mean?
That can be absolutely anything, because, and you said it earlier on, when they have the search warrant, they can't seize everything. They got to have a reasonable connection from the seizing agent's perspective of something that could be tied to the crime. And so if you have a book that is used in his field of study, it could be used and highlighted for something he was researching for school. It could also be something he's actually referencing for something he's trying to conduct in his life. It makes it challenging for a search team because it could have a lot of overlap, which is a little unusual. But it could be either or.
And it's something, like you said, it has to be relevant. At least they have to think it's relevant to the murder investigation. So that's
okay. But black gloves, I own a pair of black gloves. One black hat, own that. One black mask, I found one today in an old purse. It was a black mask with little flowers on it. Book with underlining on page 118. I'm sure you can find a book, in my home with a page with 118 in it. And I'm sure if it was bent a certain way, it could be underlined too. I don't know. But those things don't seem like, what about the knife? Look at this, number one. Let's talk about number one. Just the regular old knife. What is that? What kind? What does it look like? How big is it? How sharp is it? Where's the sharpener, Kohberger? Where's the knife sharpener you bought? We know you tossed the knife into the probably Snake River or something, but where's the sharpener? Did you just get rid of that too? Because you're like, well, I don't have the knife anymore. Don't have the sheath, so you don't need the knife, so you don't need the sharpener. I see the logic. Okay.
That's why I'm so fascinated by that. I wonder what it is. Katie, what do you make of all of this? What are you honing in on when we list out all of the evidence? And as a defense attorney, it just seems like this guy is getting harder and harder to defend with all of this stuff that continues to come out.
Well, that's absolutely the case. And I think if I was his defense attorney, I would tell him, and again, I believe in the presumption of innocence here, but if he has any hope of avoiding the death penalty, I think that he needs to take a plea deal and express remorse as soon as possible. Any defense attorney is going to look at evidence that ceased and determine if there was any sort of issue with a search warrant, because it does have to be proper under the law. There were some pretextual stops here, the traffic stops that are a bit questionable in terms of whether they had proper basis to stop him and collect evidence and DNA that they then used to supplement their affidavits to get these other items. So any defense attorney is going to try to see if there's any way to keep some of this evidence out. If they can't, then the next thing you have to do is try to present any other reasonable explanation for why you might have things that seem suspicious, like gloves, black clothing, etc., but maybe have an innocent explanation of some sort. But in this case, with the circumstantial evidence mounting against him and all the physical evidence at that, I don't know that there's much fight to be had for the underlying crime.
It's interesting, Katie, you bring up plea deal to avoid the death penalty. But with all of this evidence and one family at least already saying that they want the death penalty, and it seems, at least from what we know, that the prosecution has somewhat of a pretty solid case, why would they even be considering a plea deal? Do you think they would even consider it, Katie?
Well, in terms of a plea deal, I'm not necessarily saying that they would agree to that. It's more a matter of Kohberger trying to mitigate his ultimate sentence, because if he pleads guilty, whether he has a deal or not, I'm not necessarily saying that they would agree to that. It's more a matter of Kohberger trying to mitigate.
Oh, how does she pronounce his last name? Kohberger? I'm just saying, someone was in my comment section today saying, you say his name wrong. I said, I know, I do it on purpose. That probably made him mad. That probably really put him over the edge. Because if you say you're saying it on purpose, oh my gosh. I remember one time I wouldn't say Mr. Kohberger. I wouldn't say the mister. Like it was the beginning of this case. I wasn't going to say it. I wasn't going to say it. And these people are in the comment section, you can't call him mister. I'm like, oh God.
Mitigate his ultimate sentence, because if he pleads
So I called
guilty,
him
whether he
mister.
has a deal or not, there still has to be a determination as to whether he gets the death penalty. And if he expresses remorse and there's more of an explanation up front, then that's going to probably be his best shot to avoid the death penalty if that's his goal in all of this. That's not necessarily a deal. It's just a decision to plead guilty, what they call a naked plea, essentially, without any protection, but to do so to get some sort of potential benefit, some sort of leniency in terms of sentencing.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below.
Did not expect Cuomo to come out of there, but okay, well, that was a lot. I don't think his alibi is worth a damn, first and foremost. I don't think that's going to get him anywhere. He's going to have to come up with some stuff. They've already said it. He has like until I think the next court date. He has to like come up with stuff. Let me see. I'm going to tell you. I think it's the 18th, but I can't remember for sure. It might be the 15th. So we're going to go look. But he does have an open, so he has a hearing, and it's a double hearing that day. So basically, they're going to have half of the day open for the public to see, and then half of the day is going to be closed. Let me tell you what's closed and what's open, because I don't want to say it backwards. It is on the 18th. It's at 12:30, so it'll be 1:30 our time, or wait, 2:30 our time, sorry. 2:30 Eastern Standard Time. And it's the motion to continue is not sealed, but the alternate perpetrators is sealed. That stinks. Okay, well, that's fine. I mean, at least we get the motion to continue, which don't even have to come to see it. We already know she's not going to get it because I don't see them sending out paperwork and subpoenaing people, like not even Bethany, because that was back in May. Okay. But I'm talking about the new people. They just subpoenaed the 5 people out of Pennsylvania. Right. And they just did that on like the 4th, 5th, 6th. So for them to be doing all that, I don't see them continuing this. Right. Because they would, why would they send the paperwork out? Why get people's, them thinking that they have to be somewhere on a certain date at a certain time if they don't have to be. So I just really don't see them doing that. And then after that, we'll go on to jury trial, I guess, jury selection, and I'll be here for every minute of it. You know me, we'll do it. We've done cases before. I mean, trials before. We just usually will, like, if they get breaks, we'll just talk through the breaks. This case is not going to be hard to be able to talk about. You know what I mean? Like the whole break, I think, is going to be covered. We'll be able to cover the whole case and, like talk about what they've went over in trial. I think there's going to be plenty to talk about during the breaks is what I'm trying to say. So I think it'll be a good time. It'll be a good trial. I think that he's going to, either way, justice will be served. We'll see what happens. Let me see. Was there anything else I want to show you? Oh, I wanted to tell you guys they still have not found Travis Decker. I looked it up just to, let you guys know if you guys didn't know and you guys were still following it. But he did, I guess, make some online searches about like moving to Canada. And I guess that, with being in Washington, I don't know how close that is to the Canadian border. Maybe Baby Girl or someone in the chat knows, but I don't know how close that is to the Canadian border. So but it sounds like it could be close if they're saying they have the National Guard sent out. National Guard activated. That's what it says. National Guard activate. Get out there and get that guy and bring him out. Who got Danilo Cavalcante? Was it the National Guard or was it just regular old, not like regular old FBI, but was it regular like SWAT FBI? I can't remember. It for really, but for walking, it's a lot. Yeah, I don't think it was the U.S. Marshals. Yeah, they have them all out there. So I think that that's good. Every time I just can't. Those little girls. That's just 10 miles. Well, yeah, I mean, that's walking, that's pretty far, but you could do it. Especially if you're like if he's like ex-military, he could run that probably. He could probably jog 10 miles. I don't know. Probably jog and then stop. But I mean, yeah, like that's the guy that hurt his three little girls. Yeah. Yeah, Allison, we've been covering it on the channel, but if there's not really anything going on, we just cover like at night. I usually just tell you guys at the end of the live if he's been caught or not. And when I went to look, like I looked up his name and there was something from like an hour ago and I was like, like my stomach fluttered. So no, they didn't find him. No, I was just giving you an update that they didn't find him. But they did deploy the National Guard, and that's good news. And the marshals, and of course they have the most handsomest sheriff ever out there. I was trying to show Vincent today that guy's picture. I was like, look, you look like this guy with this salt and pepper hair. And he was like, I don't look like that guy. He's like, that guy's built. But I did put the old filter on him on Snapchat today. He didn't like that. Vincent didn't like that. Vincent looks really young. Like he's only 36. He's very young, very, very young. But when I put the old filter on him, it made him look old. It did. It made him look old. And then it was really funny for me because, do that to someone sometime. It's funny. You can get them. You can trick them. But I don't know how anyone could hurt their little girls like that. Like your own kids under the age of 10. I mean, them little girls are probably so excited for summer, and spending time with their dad. It's sad. That's sad. Like your dad, man, your dad's supposed to protect you. Especially if your dad's like ex-military. Like that even says even more, We'll have to do a live over it because I know that there's a video out there of the little girls and of their father. And I guess the mom wants it shown. I don't mind showing it. But hey, CJK. But yeah, but I think that's all I really have for you. You have to rewind, CJK. Which little beachy thing beside you makes me want to go to the beach. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I saw that the mom released family photos. Yeah. Yeah, it's real sad. I saw it too. I just I didn't have it pulled up. But yeah, maybe we'll go over that tomorrow. And maybe they'll catch him by then. That would be nice. That would be real nice. I think that if he knew how Whitney was taking everything, right? Like Whitney has more, I mean, I don't know. She's a bigger person than me. I'll say that. She's a bigger person than me. She says that, he needed help and he wasn't getting the help that he needed and this and that. And I don't know. But I think that if he knew that she would probably still help him get the help he needs, you know what I mean? Like, I still think she would help him get the help he needs, that he would maybe come out and maybe not run. Maybe, I mean, I don't know. Where's the dog? I know that was like an appropriate time to ask, but he had a dog. And they were out there for what? Till the 2nd. They weren't found. So March or May, I'm sorry, May. Is there 30 days in May? I don't even know. 30, I think. So that's 2 days the dog was out for him. Oh, did she take the dog by that time? They found the dog? Okay. Because she was going to take the dog, but she didn't take the dog. The dog was in his truck. Because she was going to take the dog, but I don't think she ever did. I don't think he gave her the dog yet. Okay. That just hit me. And I was thinking it would be like just in that area somewhere. I don't know why I would think it would go somewhere else, but you think he might have like off himself. I don't think he did. See, I think if he would have wanted to do that, he would have done it there. Unless he wanted this big search for him, right? I mean, I don't know. Normally, though, maybe if he's like feeling like he's in the wrong and he just because he is, maybe he did want to go off somewhere and do it somewhere else. But yeah, it's sad. Like, I mean, those little girls were precious. Precious, precious, precious. And every time I literally think those little girls, it makes me think of Chad Doberman and his little boys. Oh, that was handprints. That was blood. And that was definitely handprints. They were grown adult handprints. That's what I thought, Monchi. Because I didn't think that she had like given him them yet. We were just talking about the guy that unalived his 3 daughters, allegedly. I was giving you guys an update about it. But there's no, they just haven't found him yet. But they've deployed, National Guard and stuff. So they're out there looking for him. I'm assuming it was his little girls. I'm assuming it was probably a combination. I think when you asphyxiate somebody, that can happen. Through the nose and mouth can come out. So the bag might have gotten torn. He might have got it on his hand or maybe it was his own and one of the little girls bit him whenever he was trying to zip tie her or something. This is bad. I mean, I don't even want to say this, but like, unless he said like that it was a game or something, for you to get someone to turn around and grab them and hold them and zip tie them. I mean, like those little girls, there was 3 of them. So it's like, I think that he had said something like, it's a game. We're all playing a game. Or I don't know, because there was why didn't one of the little girls run off or 2 of the little girls? Or maybe they just didn't want to leave their other sister. It's sad. Well, Daniel, you want to come up and you can tell me about your theories? Because my theories are not preposterous. Yeah, kind of like Chris Watts, yeah. Or they were sleeping, yeah. And then Ladybug welcomes them in. I love that. We don't need to welcome in the trolls, Ladybug. But you want to come up here? You won't. He's already out of here. He's gone. It's probably a girl anyway. I said Daniel, but it's probably really Danielle under Daniel's name. Hey, Kaylee. Take that link there, pal. Which case? Because we're talking about 2. We talked about 2. So I'll give you a minute. I know people get nervous. But hit the link. You can have the floor. You can give me your ideas. Tell me your thoughts, your concerns. Well, you can't even form an idea. Never mind then, Daniel. So that didn't work out well, did it? They never do. They never do. It's okay, Ladybug. It happens all the time. I'm just like, oh my gosh. Not like all the time because we don't get trolls all the time. But when it happens, I'm just like, oh gosh, but it's fine. I used to welcome them in when it was Rapper. And then he was, I can't even troll you. You're too nice. Remember that guy? Yeah, the guy with the 3 girls. Daniel. You got some attention tonight. Are you happy? I bet they're smiling wherever they're at. They're probably smiling big, I hope they did too, DM. And Kaylee, are you going to be going to that trial? You going to try to get a lucky ticket? Lucky, like, golden ticket? I was wondering about you last night. I was like, oh, I wonder if Kaylee's going. Ashley said she's taking her RV there, or her camper there. Her camper is like the size of an RV. It's huge. We could all just go and stay with Ashley. Party at Ashley's camper. If she's in the chat. she'll jump in and say, yeah, she wouldn't care. She would come and pick us all up. That's Ashley for you. Yeah, don't come in here ruining our good time, Daniel. Telling me my thoughts are preposterous. And her new doggy, yeah. Yeah, and she has a new dog. She has a new co-pilot. I don't know. My dogs are out of here. It's weird when they're not in here. I always feel like she's always right there. She's not laying there tonight. She left me a little bit ago. The realization of that happening, yeah. No, they haven't. Squeaky, they haven't found anything of him. The doorbell camera that they have, like the image is of when he was picking them up from the house. But yeah, they don't have nothing. Thanks, DM. I think I do. I think I have the nicest one. I think I do have the nicest chat. Y'all are like really nice. Me, not so much. No, I'm just kidding. I'm pretty nice. But no, you guys are really nice. Really, really nice. And I have to say I have the nicest mods on the platform. I really do. I really do. And all of you guys are nice. Like everybody that comes in here is usually nice. We don't really get trolls like normal channels do. Do you know what I mean? Like you don't see I don't see it anyway. You don't see the mods deleting stuff and where you can see the messages disappear. Like in some chats you'll go in, you can just look at the chat and every other message is just disappearing because the mods are blocking it or, deleting them. I wouldn't be able to do that. I don't even know how my mods do it. You guys are the best. I am so ADHD. I wouldn't be able to watch. Well, I don't know. I watch live chats sometimes, but I don't think I would be able to do it as good as you guys. You guys get everybody. Like a hello for everyone. Like literally. Everybody gets that hello to and all that good stuff. And I love that. Because that's what matters, just being kind to each other. Like BJ. Yeah. Yeah, Austin. That's who I was thinking of. I've commented there and they deleted them so fast they don't even pop up. They have a skill set over there that I've never seen. You know what I mean? Like when she says drop them links, those links are dropping. When she says be on the alert, the trolls are out. That's because she unblocked everybody. So here they come. Captain, I'll get them. We like you, Captain. Hi, Captain. I even said hi to you in the comment section today. That's still there too. Instead of the chat. That makes me laugh because there's going to be a ton of people that are going to be like, who's Captain? Because does this say Captain? They probably but they probably don't even think of anything. Actually, it's speaking of which, what's going on over there on that side of the world today? Not much. Comment section, hello. Oh, thanks, Captain. I appreciate that. Yeah. Yeah, you guys are really good mods. No, Vincent even asked me, he's like, is your new mod working out good? I said, yeah. I said, of course. I thought about it long enough before I made you a mod. I was thinking about it for weeks. I was like, I should make Baby Girl a mod. Then I'm like, well, do we need a mod? Do we need another mod? I'm like, I think we need another mod. Just an extra one. 3, and plus I like everything in 3s. I don't know why I didn't have 3 to begin with. I don't know. I'm a odds numbers person. I never used to be like that. I used to be matchy. Everything that was on this side had to be on this side. You know what I mean? Of anything. And then now I'm there's 3 Kindle things over there, 3 books, just everything's in 3s. I think I have 3 sand things that you can flip over, but the other one's out in the living room. So I do have 3 of those too. Baby girl, hi Vincent. He'll usually watch in. Hello from Wisconsin. Well, we're getting ready to get off here now. I've been talking to you guys for a little while. I like talking to you guys though. It's my favorite part of the live. I mean, other than I like talking about the case, but I love talking to you guys and just, getting to see what you guys are up to. We need to just do a live that's just a regular old, let's just talk. Let's just talk live. I'm afraid to do lives like that because I'm afraid it'll hurt my algorithm, but I need to stop being afraid of that. You know what I mean? It'll be fine. That's your favorite number, 3? I like 3s too. It started with when I was working at a boutique and they had a home store, and the girl that I looked up to so much, like as like a mother figure, she was like, what, you like everything to matchy? Like, and I was like, yeah, I love matchy. Like, so throughout like our whole year, like 8 years of like knowing each other, we always worked together at all these different places. And that's where we were working at. And she was like, no, everything you do, everything in threes. And when she started showing me that, like in the store with like different things, I was like, that makes so much sense. Like, or if like do like 3 pillows on your couch instead of 2 and 2. Like, that's what I would do, 2 and 2. That's what I have right now, actually. But that's what I came with. But I have 1 in the middle to make it 5. So it's like an odd number. But you know. See, official. That's my ADHD allows me to do that too. I have like the worst ADHD ever. And don't quit forever, Captain. It is a good conversation. We always have good conversations on the end of our lives. So you get unfogged. You're going to be out on that. I'll probably take you a little while to get there. But once you get there, you might not want to come back. Might not want to come back to the dark side. But thank you guys all for being here tonight. We are going to do members live. I haven't forgot about y'all. Maybe we'll do one of those tomorrow during the day. I'm trying to think of when it'll be the best time. I don't think anything's going on tomorrow. I say that now and then I'll forget something. Do you know what I mean? Because Vincent's home on the weekends, but I don't think anything's going on tomorrow. Nope. I think we're good. And then I'm stuck in the next week. We are getting vehicles fixed. So like other things fixed. So I'll be here with you guys probably during the day as well. So Lori, it's funny. Really does it here like turns out it was just menopause. That could be though. I mean, like I could see you being like, is it, you know, is it or is it? Well, thanks, Austin. I try to be positive. It does get real heavy. Like I know I could stream her and make y'all laugh like hell. Like, I mean, I'm gonna admit it. I'm pretty funny when I want to be. But with that said, it's just too easy. Do you know what I mean? And plus, I don't want to grow subscribers that don't want to come back for like true crime. Do you know what I mean? Like, because that's not gonna, like, if my numbers go up, that'd be cool. But if they don't return, then that's not cool. You know what I mean? So, and I noticed that when I was doing like Betty content there for a little while, because she does get under my skin. I can't watch her normally. If I review her, I'll watch her just to review her. But I noticed then I was getting like on my second channel, we'd have really big chats, but I was doing something I didn't really want to do. Do you know what I mean? Like I didn't want that for my second channel. I wanted that channel to be like a live vlogging channel for like trauma and for like all that other stuff. So we can go over there and have like a safe place and not, you know, so yeah, analytics go a long way. They do. So that's why I'm just kind of sticking with, you know, what I know. Oh, Betsy, it's crazy. Some of the, I mean, I don't even want to call them crama because there should not be a crama. There should be a drama and there should be a true crime. You know what I mean? There should be no in the middle. There should be none of this. If you do drama, and this is my humblest opinion, and this goes across the board, you shouldn't touch true crime cases. You shouldn't touch them. Leave them alone. Bye. Go back to the drama. See you back over there. Because like I hate that. They mix that when they're mixing that, the families don't want that. I'm telling you right now. If someone did that shit to my family, I would be in jail for a long time. If I was a victim's family and I saw some of the stuff that gets put out on the YouTube streets, I would be, whoo. You know, I do like the drama channels. I'm not gonna lie. I like to be watching sometimes. I'll pop in and I'll be like, okay, let's listen in, and I'll say something in the chat, and then I'll pop out, or I'll pop in, and but then it's like the same live, but everyone's using the same live to go live with it. I can't do that. I can't watch it more than once. Do you know what I mean? I'll watch whoever comes on first. You know what I mean? It's like whoever comes on first. But I don't want it to mess up my analytics over here either. Like what I watch. Like I don't know if that does anything like to your analytics. It could. It could. Right? Hey, Chicos. Yeah. Baby girl, they can make my brain hurt too. Ooh, Trisha paid us. I like Trisha. I want to start doing that kind of stuff on that channel, my other channel too, where we just do like celebrity gossip and stuff like that. I think that would be like fun. There's always some good, celebrity scandal going on somewhere, like Diddy right now, for instance, which I need to get caught up on Diddy content. Oh, and let me just rewind this back for a second to the person. I don't know their name now because I blocked their comment and I can't believe I blocked it. I shouldn't have blocked it. Like I hid it or whatever on Twitter. I guess you can hide the comment and I shouldn't have hid it. And now I tried to unhide it and I can't figure that out. So if anyone knows how to do that, let me know. But he said something today. I think it was a guy. He said something about my Nancy Grace cardboard cutout. Yeah, he said something mean to me. I don't know what he said mean to me. I can't remember that part. I didn't take offense to that. I took offense to, he was like, yeah, and where's your Nancy Grace cardboard cutout bin or something? And I was like, the bitch is under the chair. Leave her alone. She's sleeping. She's taking a nap. I still got her. Thank you, True Crime Lullabies. Thank you so much. Thank you for the super sticker. Thank you. I can't remember the guy's name. It was a guy, though. I think it was like D's Rez. Like Dezrees or something. Like that's like what I'm seeing. I'm picturing that. I'll have to figure out how to get reverse it. I don't know how to unhide it. Right? Leave Nancy. Even Nancy has to have a rest. Yeah, leave her alone. I was just like, man. I've never had anybody say anything mean to me on Twitter before. I was like, hey, don't you judge Nancy. I was like, I haven't even been able to watch Nancy. Nancy's been doing Diddy, she's on it like she was on Alec Murdaugh's case. You know what I mean? But she did do a couple different cases this weekend. She did Emily Pike. And I don't know about the other one, Matthew Johnson. Oh, whose body's never been found was killed by his wife. Wow. What'd she do with it? He was in the military as a National Guardsman in the Special Ops Unit. What? Now that one looks good. I don't remember ever hearing about this guy. Yeah, it says, oh, sorry. I mean, I guess you don't hear about that. She hates Casey Anthony. Lori, that's what I love about Nancy. I think I've watched Nancy since I was a little girl. A little girl. And my mom never liked her. Right. I remember growing up and my mom being like, oh God, there's Nancy again, or something I don't remember verbatim because my mom never said anything really bad around me, even though that's not bad. She just always super positive. But I remember her not liking Nancy, but then Nancy had her twins. And then after that, she's like, I like her now. And I was like, oh, okay. But my dad loved Nancy. I need to do a catch up on the Diddy case too. But I think that's all I got for you guys for tonight. Thanks for sticking over and talking to me for a little bit. I appreciate it. I'm going to get ready and lay down and go to bed. That's what I usually do after the live. I usually will hop on whoever. I'll see someone live I'll go to live tab if I see anybody. I'll pop on their live and then I usually go in and then do all the stuff that girls have to do to get ready to go to sleep. So if you guys if I don't see you tomorrow, have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Hopefully it's nice wherever you are, nice outside tomorrow. It's supposed to be rainy, I think, here. I'll double check. You never know. Maybe it'll be really nice. I think it's supposed to rain. It's been raining here every day. Yep, it's raining. Actually, it's going to start raining right at 12 o'clock. So, and it's going to rain all the way through Tuesday, through till Tuesday. That's not fun. But thanks for being here tonight, guys. I appreciate you. I'm going to go and spend some time with the dogs too, because they're right outside the door. The door. But thank you guys for being here. Thanks again, True Crime Lullabies. And I don't know if Naomi is still in here, but she's been a member for 19 months. That's amazing. That's amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you guys all for being here. Thank you, mods. And I'll see you guys all tomorrow. Bye, guys.
Just like the street lights lit this town, like a fire in a blaze, gotta burn